What's up, guys? This video is about my experience in my first 6 months of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and some other martial arts training. So at some point during the coronavirus 2020 quarantine shutdown, I started getting onto, YouTube videos and seeing how to do like military exercises from home because gyms were shut down. And so I came across Jocko Willink or whatever. And he had one video on being more masculine or whatever. And he said, train some jiu-jitsu. And then, it got me thinking. I knew about jiu-jitsu and from UFC, and one of my good friends trains jiu-jitsu, but never thought it was that important. But that man, Jocko, can sell jiu-jitsu to anyone. So, I started getting onto a bunch of videos, and before I know it, I'm looking into trying jiu-jitsu in person. So I started looking into gyms. The first gym I went to was a Renzo Gracie gym, and it was a little far from me. And I did get my feet wet there. I got a taste of it. I did a couple of no-gi classes actually there, and it was good and everything, but ultimately I ended up switching to another gym where I felt just at home at. Like the guys there and the main coach, I just completely felt at home. So if anyone's thinking about starting jiu-jitsu, make sure, try a couple different gyms maybe and get to one where you really connect with the instructor and where you really feel at home and comfortable and the guys and everything. Because I don't know about where you are, but in my area, there's just gyms all over the place, and there's a lot to try. So I felt at home at the gym. It was an American top team gym in Deerfield, and they also offered other martial arts as well, Muay Thai, boxing. So that's what brought me there. So my main concern starting out was I even going to be able to do this with my bad shoulder? I had a dislocated shoulder years ago, and it's still weak and can potentially pop out in certain situations like sports. So that was a huge fear, but I found that I was able to deal with it. I was able to find out how to work around it, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to have found jiu-jitsu so I can learn to defend myself in situations, because before I thought I was just, any kind of fight or anything, I'm screwed because my shoulder's gonna pop out and I'm done, and I just won't be able to fight, or defend myself. I shouldn't say that, but so if you have any kind of pre-existing injury, I would say the most jiu-jitsu people and most people that if you're going to the right kind of gym, we all kind of got pre-existing issues. Some people got bad knees, whatever. Shoulders are also just a main one. Everyone's got like a bad shoulder. So, you don't have to worry about someone, attacking a shoulder. It's not like, anyone's out to get you or anything. I would say it's just, and with injuries, on the topic of injuries, you might have a fear of being injured and not being able to go to work or having to deal with an injury. Injuries, I would say, can happen, but sometimes there's situations where I'm like, oh, my finger's there. I'll stop in the middle of a roll and say, oh, my foot's caught, like something weird's going on, and stop. It's not like we're out here we're just trying to get better. We're not trying to get hurt. So we're not trying to kill each other. We are trying to choke each other and put each other in situations like where you could get hurt if it was a real fight, but at the end of the day, it's just to train and get better, and so injuries in my experience have been minor. I've gotten, after some hard training, I've had some bruises and dings, and the worst thing for me was a really stiff neck, really bad. It was like almost nerve damage or something happened. I was letting someone crank on my neck. I wasn't being choked, but so after, it was extremely painful. I was actually really worried about it, but after a day or so, it went away. So, and I learned from that. I just all learning experiences. I learned, even though I'm not being choked or really in any kind of submission hold, never to let anybody crank son out. I will keep someone away from my neck. And while on that sort of topic of protecting my neck, maybe someone's cranking on and I'm not able to get my neck free or whatever the case. Just what I want to say is just I had to learn, and you're gonna get humbled in jiu-jitsu. You'll hear that. It's just part of the game. If you have no experience in wrestling or martial arts or jiu-jitsu at all, like me, you're gonna get tapped a lot, and that goes for everyone. So it's nothing wrong with tapping. So if in any situation where you're caught, just tap. I learned to tap. So I probably could have just tapped. Someone was yanking on my neck, and I have a competitive spirit sometimes, and I was like, okay, you wanna crank there? You're not choking me. You're not doing anything. Go for it. You're gonna waste your energy, but I ended up with a really badly stiff neck. So I could have just tapped there. All right. So I've been training for 6 months, so I'm still very new into training, and I don't feel like I I have a little confidence now, I think, but at the same time, respect. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe when I'm walking around in my normal day to day on the street. It's a good feeling knowing I know some stuff, So I know the me today would most likely really beat up the me 6 months ago. So there's a good confidence there that I have, and I'm very new to it, and I have a long way to go. But for me, I found that I got some confidence out of this. Another huge benefit you get from training jiu-jitsu is the exercise you get out of it. It's an amazing workout. It might not look like an amazing workout, but I remember like my first couple rolls, just like drenched in sweat. Like I don't even, know why I'm sweating so much, I guess, but it's a great workout. And I've seen guys come in overweight, not able to do much, getting gassed out and breathing heavy. And then after a couple months, they turn into beasts, just muscular, lost a bunch of fat. I'm sure they're also changing their lifestyle a little bit as far as their eating habits and stuff, because you want to do that when you're working hard there. You want to get the most out of everything. And like I said, I touched on a friend too who growing up was extremely overweight and started training jiu-jitsu and just turned into a muscular, in shape dude. So it does that, and it's great. It's amazing. Another thing that I found that I've benefited from training jiu-jitsu is actually getting a routine. So recently we're in 2021 now, but there was a recent little outbreak in the gym, so we had to close. It was going into from 2020 to 2021. We had to close the gym for a couple weeks maybe. So I probably went a week or two, just like a couple weeks without going to my normal schedule. So my normal schedule is I go Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Sometimes Tuesday, Thursday nights I'll train striking, and then Saturday is open mat at 12. So I get out of bed Tuesday, Thursday morning. I got to get up early a little bit, and I get going. I start my day. I have a great exercise afterwards. Yeah, the other day after training, we were sitting around after a good training, and one of the guys said, this was the moment I was waiting for, when we were all just sitting around, just drenched in sweat, tired, beat down, and a good training day. And he was like, this is the moment I was waiting for. It's a great feeling after training. It just is. You just feel a little bit better than you did when you walked in. for me, I just got to show up. That was one thing that was kind of like a mantra maybe that I heard in my head. Just show up. There's times when I feel like, what am I doing? I can't do this, or this is pointless. I'm no good. I'm not flexible, but I just know I just got to show up and I get better. And one thing that has happened from training is I haven't been in an actual fight or anything really in really my whole life, really. Well, I don't want to say it. There's been a couple of fights, but it was a little while ago. And so when I've had a couple situations where I've noticed my training, there was like this is a silly thing, but a girl went to, and this was actually just from training boxing, but someone went to be like, kind of like slap my body, like kind of like a body shot in boxing. And after training the boxing classes, I immediately went to like the defense to like block my body. You might think that was just, anybody would do that. Of course you're going to block it, but I don't know. I think I like literally went to block my like chin down. I was like, whoa, I did that exactly like we would do in boxing class. So I know I want to kind of focus on jiu-jitsu here, and but I think there's other forms of martial arts that are important as well. But definitely jiu-jitsu for me is my main base and my main focus and where I want to focus on. But and there was another situation. I work at a bar, and there was someone who was drunk, and they kind of were going to put their hand like in my like chest, and I like immediately did something that we do when we start like rolling, like standing up. I went in for like, I was like, well, no, and put their hand out and went for inner control. You want to control someone on the inside, and it's just those little things that I don't realize that my body is being taught, that is actually there, that I might not feel like I have, but I do have. So there's that. So I'm someone who doesn't like confrontation. I avoid it. But in my profession, sometimes I get forced into it. Like I said, I work at a bar, and I'm the manager, so I'll get fight, Michael. We need. They're fighting over there, or whatever the case, or someone's drunk. Will you go? You got to kick somebody out. So I get forced in these type of awkward situations that could potentially become physical, and I hate them. But now I'm able to know I can at least defend myself if need be. And in life as well, you know, God forbid if somebody's trying to just come up and just start fighting me, I'll know what to do if need be. So if you're somebody who's not confrontational, and this is something that you're thinking about, but you're maybe worried, whatever, if you're not confrontational, you should probably start it even more so. I found there's just something to putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that makes me better as a person on the other side. So even just training in general, sometimes I have to go up against somebody who's bigger and better and stronger than me, and I'm just like uncomfortable. And after I'm done training with this person or rolling with this person, and whether I do good or bad, I feel a little better. And sometimes life throws me situations that are uncomfortable and this and that, and I know I'm going to be better on the outside. So there's a lot of little lessons and a lot of things that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu translates into regular life, and it just makes me better. I could probably go on and on about all the different benefits and things I've noticed. And actually the shutdown that we had for a couple weeks when I wasn't able to go and train was actually beneficial in a way, because I found, without the jiu-jitsu training, what my life would look like without it right now. It's me sleeping in, not really exercising, starting to eat weird, and just not a connection to, I've gotten like a connection and a brotherhood with the guys I train with. So without those things, it's just, my life would just look a little different, you know? So I'm really glad I had an open mind and decided to go try it and stuck with it for a little while. Like I said, only 6 months now, and I can see that if I were to stick with this for a couple years, where I would be then as far as my level of skill at it, but not only that, just where I am as a person, just it just works on your body physically and also your mind, and it just has, I found that it's made me a better person all around. And it's not easy. It's not, but neither is life. Life isn't always easy. And I've learned that, by sticking with it and just continuing to show up, even though I don't feel like I'm getting better at it sometimes, I really am. And it shows when someone's newer comes in. There was a guy who came in bigger than me, stronger than me, but not really trained, and I was able to handle him, and that's just goes to show that it does work. And a lot of these lessons and a lot of these things I learned from training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts, they translate into life. Respect for others, the discipline to get up and show up, the humbleness, the routine I get, the physical and mental benefits I get. I can sit here and talk about them all day. So I recommend everybody just at least train some form of martial arts. Jiu-Jitsu is important. Someone's not going to be able, you'll learn to not be able to be held down, so you can get away if need be. And it's nice to know just some basics. It might not be for you, you don't know until you try, but just to know some basics, like if someone's trying to put you into some sort of, say, a triangle, or trying to take you down, you'll have these kind of second nature defenses now. You'll know what they're doing just from going for a couple classes, and I'm really glad I did. I'm gonna keep going. I don't know if I'm gonna become a black belt. I don't know how long I'm gonna train for, but I know I'm gonna continue to train, because now after training I see the benefits I get, and I can see in just 6 months what the difference has made. And I can only imagine after a couple of years how I'll feel about it then. So that's my take on starting jiu-jitsu and my experience in my first 6 months.